Guys, welcome to my review of the Potensic Atom. This is, I believe, the cheaper one. It flies up to about 30 minutes time, and in this review we're going to do both the indoor flight with this little drone and we're going to do an outdoor flight out here at the field today. So it'll be a full review. We're just going to go through a lot of the things that come with it here. It does come with a pretty nice little case, soft case with tons of different zippers on here and extra compartments for adding everything inside the bag. It carries everything you see here, which is kind of cool. It has a shoulder sling on it. It has a 3-up battery charger that comes with it, which is great. It also includes the AC adapter. It has looks like 4 sets of props in the bag as well. Also a USB cable for charging up your transmitter. And the transmitter is expandable to pretty much accept any phone or tablet type of modern device, whether it's Android or iPhone. The drone itself, which has a 3-axis gimbal on here, 4K. It also has some optical flow on the bottom and a push button start. Much like DJI, press it once, press again, and that will fire up the drone. The drone goes in the back, and it also came with a 64GB SD card, which I love. If you scan the QR code on the quick start guide, it'll take you to the Potensic app, and then you can download it and you can see the real-time view for your phone. So I'm going to show you the phone view in this review, and we're going to show you some 4K footage that this little guy shoots. I got 3 batteries with mine, and they are 2230 milliamp batteries, if I can spit that out. And it also comes with a disclaimer and some safety instructions, but pretty much everything you need to know about flying it is in these little manuals here. Some warnings and some full color stuff on the Atom series drone. So looks pretty good to me, and my initial test indoors actually flies pretty good indoors. But I'll show you how it flies indoors real quick, and then we'll come back out here to the field and I'll show you some big field flying with it. We'll fly around here, we'll test out the return home and some of the modes that come with it, and yeah, we'll have some fun with this little drone today. It is also under 250 grams, which I love, and foldable. Pretty portable little 4K non-DJI drone. So yeah, it's not DJI. We're gonna fly something different today. All right guys, welcome back from the indoor flight test. Now we're gonna go ahead and connect to the drone. I didn't have to enter any type of Wi-Fi password, which was pretty cool. So I'm gonna click on the Potensic Atom device here, enter device, and let's see if the real-time camera view comes up. Might want to start up the drone first. So we're gonna go ahead, press once and press again. Let those go all the way across, get it down flat as quick as you can. And after a few moments, your real-time view will come up. Gives you a little map down here of where everything is. You can switch it between video and photography. If you want to take stills, you can do that too. I also like that this has removable sticks, kind of like the Mavics have. They go right under there. And they also have 3 different types of cables that come inside the box, which is cool. This one is USB-C to my new iPhone 15 that we're flying with today. And right now it's just loading up the GPSs. It shows me up top. I'll show you some information. First, it wants you to calibrate. So we're gonna say start calibration. And this brings me back to like some old school style reviews. Horizontal. And then we're gonna point the camera up. And we're gonna try to be as careful as we can while rotating it to hold it nice and still here. And it looks like it's good. Now that the compass is calibrated, we can go ahead and take off. So I'm gonna set it right there so we can get right into it. Now it says takeoff permitted. It says right now that I have 7 satellites, full RC link to the transmitter, 99% battery, and shows me, it looks like I have 4K at 30 already set up to go here, and 2 hours and 34 minutes on the 64 gigabyte SD card, which is in the very back of the drone. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and switch into video mode here. I'm also trying to record the app screen for you as well. And let's go slide that over to video mode. It went back to the camera mode on 1 second there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start recording. Okay, so I'm assuming that it's gonna be sticks down and out to make it take off. And it says check whether the battery buckles, props are out. We already did that. It just wants you to double check that this bottom little piece here is sticking out, which it is. So we're gonna go ahead and take off again. Hopefully it'll do that. Now we're gonna use the app to take off. Swipe right, and it should come up and stop and hold a hover. So we're gonna just walk around it and see how solid of a hover it has. You know, compared to like old toy drones of the past, this one quite stable for what it is. Let's give it a little push and see if it'll hold its spot. It actually flew away from me. I wonder if it'll do auto land. So it is kind of reacting on the optical flow on the bottom. That's a pretty good hover. Yeah, I wonder if it'll auto land. Maybe when I'm pressing stick down, it'll land in my hand. Cool. So let's go ahead and set it down again. We'll do our quick launch right inside the app. That was cool. I just wanted to show you if it would do it or not. The IMU is in preparation, it says, so we'll give it a minute. We'll go ahead and try to relaunch again. I guess it just wanted to confirm that it was flat again. So now we're just gonna go ahead and fly out over the field. I'm gonna get a little bit of altitude up here, and we're gonna do some forward flying. I am recording video, so this drone does not appear to have any forward or side or bottom obstacle avoidance. So you might wanna take that into consideration, you know, in comparison to something like a Mavic Mini. Let's just go ahead and raise up here over this tree. So, okay, my first impressions of the app itself, and I've got a little camera tilt right there. My first impressions of the app is that it seems to be in pretty good real time. One thing that I did notice about like flying it indoors was that I did see some kind of a little bit of, you know, camera blur when I'm moving side to side. Now, when I'm doing a straight ahead shot like this, I think the video footage looks gorgeous. It looks really nice. I mean, for a drone for this amount of money, that's pretty good. I'm just not a big fan of how the sensor in this drone acts when I'm panning. If I could be, you know, critical. This is a flight experience. This is not really, I don't like to call them reviews that much, but, you know, you can call it what you want. I can hear it up there above me pretty well. Doesn't seem to be like really a nuisance. It's giving me a little warning at the bottom of the screen. Do not fly in severe weather. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna do that. So let's go down and see how it does low to the ground here. I'm gonna fly between these two trees, and I really wanna see, this is where I wanna stay sober. Do not operate the drone under influence of alcohol. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna do that because I'm a public figure when it comes to drones. This channel's been going for 10 years now. So around the backside of both those evergreen trees, and it didn't skip a beat, which is really good. Okay, so I'm gonna come a little lower here now. I'm just gonna, you know, fly this thing like I would an FPV drone. If this is where you're starting before you get into FPV, this is pretty cool. So yeah, it's pretty good on the real-time view. I didn't see any lag both times around the trees right there. And hopefully you can see this in the GoPro view and on the recorded screen view, that I'm not giving you any BS. It hasn't hiccuped one time just yet. Wow, the return altitude is set to 394 feet. That's pretty high. Really don't think it needs to be set that high. I just got this little notification on the left side of the screen right there. And let's just come back to the home point. And I do have some trees behind me, so I'm kind of worried about the orbit mode. I'm gonna go ahead and now come back a little closer to me, you guys, so you guys can see this little guy up close, personal. I'm just flying at pure line of sight right now. Let's check out the forward speed. I feel like it has great forward speed in whatever mode it's in right now. You know, it seems to be pretty zippy. And now I'm just hands off right there, fingers off the sticks, and it comes to a stop. Let's see how quickly it comes to a stop. Now backwards. Cool. That's pretty cool. Just giving it all the motion testing there. Now let's see if we can fly it a little bit toward ourselves and test out. There looks to be a little sensor in the front, but I don't know if it is. Okay, I just want to see if I can fly it. Yeah, it's not going to stop. It's going to chop me up. So, yeah, it'll chop you up. It's not like the DJI Mavic series where it'll stop and beep and do all that stuff within about 10 feet of yourself. So let's go into the settings real quick. I'm still recording. I want to check out some of this stuff. We did calibrate the compass. You can do that in here as well. You can calibrate the gimbal. You can set up the remote controller, calibrate the sticks on that as well. Right now it's set to auto white balance on the camera. Everything is set to imperial. You can change that to metric, which is cool. Speed settings. Now here's where I can change it to sport mode, but it might not let me do that. It says I have to be over 26 feet. Okay, let's test out sport mode, you guys. It's pretty zippy. Let's go all the way up. Now let's click sport mode. Flight speed is in fast sport mode. Okay. All right, let's see what it does now. Wow, now it really has a different sound to it. I'm just gonna spin it around toward us here. And I'm gonna fly this across the field, a little bit lower so you can get a sense of speed. And let's just full stick forward. And we're hopefully gonna turn quickly before we hit these trees over here on the left side. Oh boy. I had to turn about 40 feet in front of those trees, so keep that in mind if you buy this drone. As you're really ripping, you need to think about and anticipate your turns. That's pretty cool. It just has a crazy flight characteristic in this sport mode. Look at that. I wonder how the 4K video looks with all of this extra motion we're throwing in here. Now, I'm assuming that it has EIS built into it as well. That's electronic stabilization mode. That will kind of smooth out things a little bit further than the mechanical gimbal. Like, having both is really sweet. I love the way it turns. Let's bring it back. We might have a visual on the back for the battery life. So if we look right above it, or right on the bottom of it, you can see that my second LED is blinking. Okay. So we're just cruising around here in the field. And I wonder how close we need to be to test out some of the flight modes. I'd like to try out, maybe we can try out, maybe it has orbit. It's a good question. So the cheaper one may not have orbit, but we're gonna go ahead and stop the video now, okay? And it also shows me gimbal pitch is at -6 right now. I'm just gonna bring it up to level. So we can go all the way down to, I'm sure we can go all the way down to 90 degrees. That's cool that it actually gives me on screen what my actual pitch is. So right there it is dead 90. That's like your satellite shot right there. That's cool. So let's go ahead and start recording again. And let's bring it back up to, I believe it'll go to 0 degrees, or maybe even, let's see if it goes a little bit above 0. So it might go from 0 to 90. So right there it stops at 0. That looks pretty level to me. Cool. Okay, so we're just gonna lower the gimbal a little bit here. Bring it down to -25 so I can see myself. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click stop on the video again. And let's change the ISO. We can change the ISO in here, which is cool. Set to 100. Right now, shutter speed, 1/800th, and the white balance is 42K, 4200. That's cool. So look at that. It gave me a little more kind of HDR look. Darks are a little darker. I'm gonna go back a little bit, a little kind of reveal. And let's start recording video again. 4K is recording. And it still says we have 64% battery life. That's a fun little drone. Now, we took a Mini 3 to France a couple summers ago, and we had a ball with it. Anything under 250 grams, like when you're going through the airports, if you're looking for something cheap, this will be cheaper than a DJI. Now, you know, there's gonna be guys out there that say, oh man, I could get a used DJI Mini 3 for, who knows, maybe it's the same price. Get yourself a DJI. I don't care which one you buy. I'm not here to tell you what to buy. I'm just kind of here to like show you what my experience is so that you have an idea of what this drone can do. Okay, so that was a pretty good stop and redirect right there, and that was a pure line of sight, like just come straight in, full stick forward, and then redirect. Just cranking on the yaw stick. It's pretty good. That's well, like tight turn within, I'd say 30 feet, within a 30-foot radius. It doesn't turn like an Escalade. That's good. All right, and it appears that I'm still in sport mode because I hear those motors just freaking ringing going out of here. And let's do some sport mode flying way up high here. And if you're in sport mode, you know, be aware that your flight time is going to be less because it does rip in sport mode. And again, I think the video looks pretty good. The best video for me is when it's going straight ahead. You also have a start video and stop video button here and a camera button here. And your gimbal control wheel is here on the left too. We also have return to home here, power button here. I'm gonna hit return to home real quick. And I wonder if it'll stay in video record while we're returning to home. So, okay, so we're just gonna long press that. Now it's just gonna annoyingly beep till it gets back. So right now it's going up to its specified height, which is like 394 feet, which is way higher than I normally fly. You know, being an FPV person and FPV drone person, I usually don't fly higher than the trees. I really wish it didn't beep like that. And it's the transmitter that's beeping. There's a speaker somewhere in here. Okay, so it's turning the drone around and we're heading back now. So what do you guys think about this drone? Make some comments down below if you dig it, if you don't dig it. You know, it kind of is what it is. It has tiltable antennas here. I think the app is pretty decent for what it is. I can go back in and look at my videos and pictures. I can manually adjust the ISO and shutter speed and the white balance, which is also a really good thing for one of these types of drones. And I wonder if we can play with the gimbal while we're returning. Okay, so it looks like we can. We can spot our landing point as we're coming down. All right, and I wonder, as it's coming down, I wonder how close to the landing pad we'll get. So we're just gonna walk back over here, closer to the Prius. Okay. And it should be right above us. Coming down, I can hear it. Hopefully it doesn't land on the car. Cool, 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 cool. So far, cool. And usually if they're within 10 feet of the landing pad, that's great. I mean, that's good, but you know, that was 10 years ago. Now, these drones should be a lot closer than 10 feet because GPS has just gotten better. So right there wants to land about 4 feet from where we took off. So that's something to think about if you are on a dock or your return to home is on a boat. Also, if you're moving on a boat, you got to think about these things when you're flying a drone. And if you have a fail-safe, which means you have a disconnect from the transmitter, this little guy will automatically go into return to home. And you want to make sure that when you are returning to home that you have a place to land, because it's not waterproof. But it looks so much like the original versions of the there's a durability test. It looks so much like the original versions of the DJI mini drones. That's pretty cool. So I would assume that this gimbal is fairly fragile. Right now it's down at that 90-degree level. And let's go ahead and set it down. You know, it's cool that we have so much flight time. Let's bring this gimbal back up. See if it's still working right after I dropped it. Might have to be recalibrated. It says the gimbal motor is overloaded. So let's go ahead and turn it off, and we'll turn it back on, and we'll fly the rest of this battery. Okay, press once, press again. You see the bars go all the way across. It's restarting. Okay. So now hopefully after that drop, our gimbal's not damaged in any way. And it should come back to level when it starts up, and you'll see this real-time view come back. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and exit out of the live view here. And this app has a few different drones in here. It has the Atom SE, the Dreamer Mini 4K, that sounds cool, Dreamer Pro, and the Dreamer 4K. Dreamer 4K reminds me of one of these sort of Phantom knockoff drones that I reviewed years ago. The little toy ones that had terrible video. Okay, so we're back there, and right now it was set to automatic. We can set it to manual, and look, we can change the white balance in here. Let's go ahead and make it a little cooler. See if I can do that. Manual white balance, you have to click that. You should see it on the screen. Change, that looks pretty good. Okay, I can make it a little darker or lighter. The shutter, the ISO, I can bring that way up. You know, it just depends on what type of sunlight you're shooting in. Today we got full sun, it's beautiful out. So, okay, there we go. Everything is shooting in manual now. And this may look a little different when I come up. So we have 45% left in that battery. So I'm gonna record, and let's check our gimbal real quick. Looks like our gimbal's functioning again on the 3-axis. So it's still loading satellites. We have 9 this time. You know, I was hoping we have like 20 satellites, and I really wish I could start like the old school way. It looks like I can. So I can start the motors like that, and I can stop them like that. Just down and out, okay? All right, so let's do it from the, let's do it the old school way. Ready? Out, and then give it a little bit of up throttle. Throttle's on this side, roll and pitch is on this side. Okay, let's try that again. First time I did that, it stopped the motors. Okay, so now it says the home point's been updated, and I can go forward here. Right now it says we have 44% battery left. You know, and I'm digging the battery life. And this first battery, I already feel like, you know, around the 20-minute mark. I don't know if we're at 20 minutes yet, but it feels like I've been flying for a while. And it would be cool if they had a Lion version. I think they make one of these that is around the $400 price point. It may be the SE model. And I swear I saw one of them say it did a 90-minute flight time. 96 minutes or so, if my memory serves me correct. That would be pretty amazing. That would be a reason to spend $400. Right now I'm just flying this line of sight, cruising. I really like the way stuff looks low to the ground. What I mostly like about this drone, you know, it's also under 250 grams. It doesn't have to be registered, but what I mostly like is the real-time view that I get here. The real-time view back to my phone, it has, I mean, I just saw it break up as I came by myself, which is kind of weird, but back behind the trees over here, I was able to basically fly this thing like an FPV drone. You know, when you go through and behind thick objects like this, that's where you're gonna have breakup. And you know, if you're way out there, if you're miles out, that's something that can happen at any moment. And it has all these on-screen props in the bottom, kind of give you like little tips. When flying in the city, set the minimum return to blah, blah, blah. Look at that little guy just zipping around out there. You know, and when it's more than 100 feet away, it's really hard to hear. So, and I'm still ripping around in sport mode. So I'm just gonna go back to the setting modes here. You can turn on beginner mode as well, and that puts it in a cylindrical space with a radius of 98 feet. Let's turn that on real quick and let's test that out while I've got you here, if you're just watching this video for information. So we're still recording video in 4K. And you know what? This would be a cool mode. Beginner mode would be great if you're wanting to use this for like a quick real estate type of drone. That would be cool. Because what it does is it's slowing me down. And that's gonna give you more cinematic shots. So I got an airplane over there to my left. And one of the things the FAA will tell you is see and avoid. Hear and avoid. You're gonna hear the drone, or you're gonna hear the airplane before you see it. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna, I mean, they say see and avoid, but I always say hear and avoid because you're gonna hear it. And when you hear an airplane in the distance, you should just come below the tree line, no matter where you're flying. That's my best advice, because those guys don't see you. Cool. Now let's bring it back over here and let's bring it down a little closer up so you can see it close up. It's you know, it's pretty cool in the throttle. I like the brushless motors. They are fairly quiet. I'm at 29% right now, okay? So I'm gonna go back into the settings. I wanna turn off beginner mode, confirm, and speed settings is set to video. We have normal. Signal lost, it says return, landing, or hovering. You can change that, that's cool. Now I'm gonna change my minimum return altitude. It's actually set to 197 feet, but you can bring it all the way up to 395 feet. Now it took me into some kind of ridiculous, oh, it's giving me a little visual presentation of the different return to home functions in here. I would like to not see that while I'm flying. Good thing I'm flying at line of sight right here in front of me. Yes, thank you for that quick demonstration while I'm flying. So right now it's beeping at me and it looks like it wants to return to home at 26%, okay? So I want to see if we can lower our return to home status down to about 90 feet, right around 90 feet. Okay, 92 feet, that's great. And I'm just gonna run this battery until it goes into return to home because I want you guys to get an idea what the actual flight time of one of these batteries is. And this is the first time that I've flown this particular battery. So this battery is brand new, okay? And now I'm flying in normal mode right now, and let's see, I don't see my, let's check out. It doesn't say the mile per hour. For some reason, it's not telling me miles per hour. Oh, there it is, 22 miles per hour. That's pretty cool that it actually shows miles per hour. So you could change it to metric, and then you'll see kilometers. So that's cool for both peoples, EU and the US. You've got some cool, super cool choices for control. So I'm flying around those trees again, and I have flown around those trees so many times now. and I haven't lost communication one time. That's pretty cool. Feels a lot like flying one of the Cinewhoops. If you guys watch my channel and you know what Cinewhoops are, I would say this feels a lot like a Cinewhoop. It's pretty cool. I got some people that pulled up back here on my right. We can just sit there and watch those guys. Any nefarious activity, we're gonna catch it on video, right? So we've been recording now for 7 minutes, to actually right about 8 minutes now. And we can go up and we can bring down our camera. Looks like those guys are headed over there to the abandoned house. Oh, there's a shed over there. Could be their property. But we're on church property right now. Churches are nice most of the time. If you're a member, they'll let you fly. And sometimes they let you fly without being a member. Okay, so now it's saying select landing method. Return altitude is 16 feet while the drone is within 66 foot of distance. So it's automatically setting its landings. Now we can push the sticks to adjust the landing position. That's pretty cool. So remember earlier when it landed in the grass there, I was worried about the gimbal and the propellers when it landed in the grass. Okay, it looks like it's kind of going down over there about 40 feet away. So we're just gonna push the forward stick here, see if I can control it to come back to my landing pad. Now I wanted to land quite a ways over. Probably not gonna make it back to the landing pad, just barely back to the landing pad. Awesome. So something to think about if you are out there, you know, within 100 foot, that it's gonna kind of come down within a 30-foot radius. So that's pretty cool, you guys. You can check out the link down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this review and the information that I brought to you in this review. It's a fun little drone. I think it could, serve purposes for possibly for, a slow indoor real estate drone, since I was able to fly inside. You'll need some practice for that. I would get a tiny whoop to start. We do a lot of ready to fly tiny whoop reviews and things on this channel, so if that's what you're looking for, just hit me up in the comments or send me an email and I'll try to help you get started with real estate type of flying. So that's what we're all about. That's why we're called Drone Camps, because we have the camps ethic and we teach and educate on the channel and we have a lot of fun. But thanks again for watching, guys. I'm Justin Davis. I will definitely see you on the next one.